Hi, and welcome to episode 28 of the Muscle News and Merlin Bodybuilding podcast with my buddy Eric Brozer. How's it going, buddy?
It's going. It's going.
It's raining
So
here in Malta. How's it
raining
there?
in Malta. It's bright and sunny here in Vegas, and I'm looking out my window. Looks like there's barely any clouds in the sky, but it's probably for most of the Vegas people who are born here or whatever, like they probably think it's actually cold outside. But for me, it's just like I'm 60 degrees. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
good.
No, it's not really that cold here. I mean, it goes down a bit, but you wear a sweater and something, but but it's the raining time of the year. It starts raining a bit and you know, and a bit of winter, so because we have
Yeah.
such a hard summer. Um, Other than that, everything is normal. The bodybuilding world is quieting down a bit. It's getting a bit,
Yeah, it's a little bit settling down this time of year, getting a
yeah,
little quiet. People are in the holiday season,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the guys and the girls who are serious are probably already into their progress season and
yeah,
looking around to next year's the
yeah,
2026 schedule.
yeah. Rumors are already, shooting around and things like that, and a bit of gossip here and there, and people talking about the Arnolds and even the Olympia, who they might think that might win. We'll touch on that a bit later. Um, We can start with I think it's the last pro show of the year for bodybuilding, the Bigman in Spain, right?
Yeah, and I'm surprised that there was not a couple more named people in the show
Yeah,
trying to get an early qualification.
there were 10, 11 bodybuilders, the winner was Damian Kuffel from Poland. Uh, Second went to Mark Hector from the UK. Third went to Pablo Lopez Munoz from Spain.
Was there any
Now,
Americans?
no,
No Americans in that show. Like
no,
you would think that somebody would go there, like an
yeah.
Akeem Williams or something would.
Yeah, he won, I think, last year because he was on the cover of the thing, the poster. But this was a big. I think Juan could have won it and got his Olympia qualification. I don't know why he decided to take a holiday in Japan, and not do this show. You know what I mean? I
Man,
mean,
Regan probably could have gone in the shape he's in right
Regan,
now and won.
Nick Walker could have just walked on stage and probably won.
Oh, in the he's still in amazing shape right
Yeah.
now. If anybody would have
So
seen him on Instagram.
I don't know, for a flight to Spain, it's not about the money. Just get your Olympia qualification and get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, we don't really know what's going on in people's lives, so we don't know. But it
No,
just
no, no, it's true.
seems like it
But
would make sense.
yeah, it
You
would make,
know, it would make sense for the some to want to get a relative. And this is not to put down the guys that are in the show because they're all obviously amazing bodybuilders, but.
yeah, yeah. Oh, something happened, Eric? Eee. Seems like you paused. You okay, buddy?
A doctor, you're getting your health checked,
Wait,
you're getting your blood
you
levels checked.
did you know you paused? You
No, did I?
froze. I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
that's weird. It just said my internet connection is unstable.
Ah, yeah, it froze.
I don't know why my internet, I know my brain is unstable, but I don't know why my internet
It
connection.
happens sometimes. I don't know why.
But
I don't know.
but anyway, what I was saying was is that when you never know because a lot of these guys, the smart ones, they go to doctors, they get their blood levels checked, they
Yeah,
get things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe certain things are out of whack, and they're like, you know what, I'm
But the
not
thing
pushing
is,
it.
they don't have to really, how do you say, like, kill themselves. You know what I mean? So
No, Nick would walk on stage right now the way
that's
he looks and just win.
yeah, that's what I can understand. So anyways, this is the winner. I mean, he's a big guy. Let me get the thing
Yeah,
up.
I definitely don't know him. I think I know the second place guy, but
So you're seeing this, right?
so,
You
he
seeing the
almost looks like a
video?
Masters guy. He looks like an older guy.
Yeah, he used to, they say, I think he was a classic physique guy as well at
Oh
one
my God,
point.
he definitely grew a lot since then.
No, he's a big guy,
He's
you
big and
know?
thick. I mean, he's not like. he's definitely not shredded or anything, but
I mean, like mature muscle. I mean, like, you know, he just has to refine him. But I mean, he's going to the Olympia. You know, we can't say that, you know.
listen, he was the best man on stage there,
Yep,
and therefore he deserves to go to the Olympia, and
yeah.
that's what it is.
But
I don't,
I mean, not to take nothing away from this guy. I mean, he's huge. Thing is, I can see a Nick Walker, beating him.
Nick Walker, Regan, and maybe it'd be pretty much, uh, uh, a cakewalk for those guys. But
Yeah.
um,
He doesn't have a lot of weak points, He's just
he looks like if he actually just brings in his condition a little bit more,
yeah,
he could be pretty formidable.
yeah.
He's not a weak bodybuilder.
This was
Got
last year. This was
he's
last
got good
I
size. He's got great legs.
Oh no, this was at Romania. So, he got his was this in Romania? No, this was at the Big Man. This posing routine was at the Big Man. Yeah. So
The one
this
that
is
just
his
had
recent.
this was from this big
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
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 I mean, just looks like he just needs to get a little bit harder. He looks pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, looking from other competitions, he can get condition,
Now you see right there. Now that's you could see the density, you could see the dryness. He didn't have that at this show.
Yeah, this was 2 weeks ago. I think this was in Romania.
Really, he was a lot harder
Yeah,
here.
yeah, this was in Romania. So listen, man, he could have won this show if he.
Well, he couldn't win the Romania show because Andrew Jack is
Yeah,
standing there,
but
but
the size is there.
he's not a no, he's got a physique.
It's I mean, so either the level was bad and Paul in at the big man, so I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely lost condition. He's
Yeah,
just lucky nobody. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the guys look like, but
yeah. For him to win there, but
he's
anyways,
not bad. He's not bad.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Mark Hector, I don't know how, maybe he has a photo to see how he looked, just to get uh maybe he has a photo. Let me just check if he has a photo of so these, let me see if it's this one. Yeah, this is the big man weekend. So here he is. Everybody looks a bit off.
Soft.
What do you think?
He looks soft.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, huge legs.
His upper body's a little bit weak.
Yeah,
And again, we're picking on it because these guys are IFBB pros. I mean, his glutes are there.
yeah. It looks like this contest everywhere was tapering off from a whole year, and they just said, "Let's go to this show and see if we get our Olympia qualification." And I think these guys all look better during the year at other events.
Yeah, I mean, he looks. I mean, obviously, you see him walking around the gym, you're going to say this guy looks incredible, but you could see
Yeah,
he's a little undersized, he's a little bit watery.
yeah.
Definitely
I
a
mean,
distance. There's a good distance between him and the guy who won.
yeah. I mean, look at. I mean, I think this contest everybody was slightly off. Um, but what's his name got his Olympia qualification.
But they
So
get points for that, right? Doesn't he get points? Gets points for the second place, like those
yeah,
guys get.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The guys get point. Let me see what the point standings are. So Olympia qualified athletes. So we can. These are qualified. They're not showing the points yet. Ah, no. Wait a sec. Um, the Mr. Olympia and 212. Let me just get this page going here so you can see it. The Mr. Olympia, doesn't look like there's any points yet. It's just who wins. I think you have to win. I don't think there's points. I I, I don't know.
I
212,
thought
there's no
I
points
thought there was
either.
a point system for the Olympic.
Classic
No?
physique, there is points. You see
Oh,
that?
so maybe they're only doing show winners for the Olympia?
Yeah, for the Olympian 2-1-2, I think. Men's physique is with 2 wins, I think, and then points.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wheelchair Miss Olympia is I think you win, you're in. Fitness, all right. Figure, I can't understand it. Bikinis with points as well, you
Hmm.
know.
That's going to keep the Mr. I mean, if there are no points, it's going to keep the Mr. Olympia lineup pretty small,
Yeah,
especially
because
if especially if a guy wins multiple shows.
yeah, yeah, I know, I know. I mean, you're seeing this, right? So,
I'm seeing
Olympia. No, there are points in the
there
Olympia,
are
but it seems like
points.
they didn't list them.
Maybe they just haven't listed it yet. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just not updated.
yeah, yeah. I have to go through it. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways,
All right. Anyway, so that's the big man show.
yeah, that's it. I
Last
mean,
pro
not much
show
to
of the
talk
year.
about. I don't know half the bodybuilders, I'm not going to stay going through all their pages through the show, but it was more of a European thing. All right, I live in Europe, but there's so many bodybuilders. So
Yeah.
it's never ending. There's thousands of bodybuilders, people that turn pro 4 or 5 years ago, they'll see that event, they'll get in, and then you don't see them again.
Yeah.
So
There is one more major show this year, which is not a pro show, but the NPC Nationals, which will
yeah,
be
the Nationals.
the
Yeah,
last
but
big pro qualifier of the year. So
yeah.
we'll probably talk about that a little bit when they, I think
Yeah,
that's
we
next
were gonna.
weekend.
I told you we were gonna mention it. The Nationals, right? Before we used to know who was the national champion.
Nationals and USA, those
Yeah,
were like the
you used
two.
to know this is the new pro. Kevin Levrone, Flex Wheeler, Lee Haney, Lee Labrado, whatever. That's the new pro. He's the number one guy. He's coming for their titles. Now the guy that wins. To be honest, I forgot the guy that won last year. You know.
It's not the same. It's not the same as it used to be when the top five at the USA's and the Nationals were just waiting their turns to go pro. Like they were just
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
You don't really know. It's not the same anymore
Do
like
you
that.
think it's because there's so many new amateurs coming from abroad? Do you think it's just watering it down a bit in the States? You think it's like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's that, or I don't know if it's that, the amount of pro cards that they're giving out
yeah,
compared to what they used to. I don't know if the talent pool in bodybuilding is quite what it used to be
yeah,
because now there's so many classic guys, there's physique, there's different divisions
yeah,
people are going into.
yeah,
It used to all be about open bodybuilding,
yeah.
so I don't know if we're seeing the talent pool that we used to. I mean,
Could
you
could
remember
it?
what it was like when the USA winner would be like Flex Wheeler first and
Yeah,
not whatever, like, and there'd be like Mike
yeah,
Francois,
yeah.
Dennis Newman, and Edgar Flex, like all these incredible guys.
Do you think as well, going into that, we're gonna talk about it a bit. We can segue into it. Before they used to, feature these guys on Flex magazine and all these things. You think the magazine's disappearing affected who was the new pro and things like that? They would a cover shot, a contract with Weeder, and all these things. Do you think that made a difference?
Well, I mean, listen, we were going to talk about this topic anyway, so let's
Yeah,
just
that's
segue
why.
into it.
Yeah,
We'll segue into it. It's a good way to segue. Yeah, I think that back in the days when there was magazines, uh, some of the amateurs were just as popular as the pros. You would
yeah,
see
yeah,
amateurs who were getting featured left and right,
yeah,
and everybody knew who they were.
yeah,
Sometimes even making covers of magazines.
yeah,
And now you don't really see them featured. Of course, they might be on social media, but you might not know their name because they're
yeah.
not pros yet. So
They were getting supplement contracts as well.
yeah, I mean, like
Joe Weeder
people
as well.
like you know the Matt Mendenhalls and the Dennis Newmans and Flex Wheelers, but they were like names before they were even pros.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and sometimes some of the, like I said, some of the amateurs were more popular than the pros. So
yeah,
I think that the magazines did definitely make a difference in terms of
Yeah.
the popularity and knowing who, looking forward to who's going into these big shows.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the saddest parts.
Yeah.
It's very sad for me personally to see the magazines having all disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I was brought up in an era where to find out who won the Olympia, you had to wait a couple of months before the next Flex magazine comes out. Because I mean, I lived in Toronto, but unless I went to the Muscle Mag shop and saw him when, when he came back from abroad and put up the photos on the window, that's the only way I would know who won the Olympia. And then you would wait for the Muscle Mag to come out or Flex magazine and stuff, and you would like, you know, I mean, 2 months would have went. Like I'm telling you, man, there was that excitement waiting for it to come in the post because I used to get my Flex magazine by subscription, and always waiting for it to come in, something new, the gossip and things like that. I mean, social media, I mean, there is gossip, but it's not as exciting anymore. I mean, sometimes I see social media a bit more hateful when it comes to bodybuilding than the magazines were.
there was just something like you said about and the younger guys today won't know this. They won't even know why I'm saying this. The
Yeah,
more seasoned people will, but like something exciting about being like, oh man, it's almost been a month since my last Flex magazine's been here.
yeah,
When am I gonna? And you go to the mailbox and it's in there, and it's like you couldn't wait to rip off the
yeah,
plastic and sit
yeah,
down and start thumbing through the magazine
yeah,
and looking at. I mean, not only looking at the bodybuilders there, but you want to see the new ads for supplements. You
yeah,
want to
yeah,
see all
yeah,
the everything, and it was so
yeah,
exciting. I remember I wouldn't even read any articles. Like the first thing I would do is I would just go through every page to see
yeah,
everything,
yeah,
and then I would read the articles.
yeah,
And it was just such an exciting time. And I think it's almost like now it's lost because there's so much instant every day social media.
yeah,
Some guys just posting every day in the gym, this and that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's cool in a way, but not as exciting as it used to be. Like, oh my God, what does this person look like? I haven't
yeah,
seen what they look like in
yeah.
this long. It's lost its mystique,
Yeah,
you
even
know.
even the build up to like the Olympia, they used to get, um, back then there would be like Samir Banu and Lee Haney, or Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman, and they would build up the Olympia with the magazine covers and the articles and um, it was just I don't know, it was I found it more fun, and even the bodybuilders, they were like almost star figures, like now today you can literally, if they feel like answering you, you can talk to them on social media. That was literally impossible back then unless you went to California or wherever else to look for them and meet them, or go to these shows which were like something spectacular, like it's not every day you hear somebody going, I went to the New York Pro last week. That was like something that you only see in magazines. When I'm saying when you're a younger kid, 16, 17, um, it was just better. I mean, my magazines, I try to keep them in mint condition. They're still like in the plastic and stuff like that. So it's just memories, it takes you back. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, and also, I mean, for me, it was a step further because then I became a writer for these
yeah,
magazines.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I wrote for, let's see, I wrote for Iron Man, Flex,
yeah,
Muscle Mag International, Muscular Development, Planet Muscle, Natural Bodybuilding Mag. I mean,
yeah,
I wrote for all of them, and it was so exciting for me, obviously, to pick up a magazine and be like, see my name in the table of
yeah,
contents and see my
yeah.
article, and then see. I mean, that was just for me the coolest thing in the world, and
Yeah, yeah.
even having been on the cover of Iron Man magazine, I remember the day that I was in the airport and I was looking through the magazine rack and there I was on the magazine rack and the cover and some guy comes up to me and he looks at me, he looks at me, he goes, "Holy shit, that's you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." It was the coolest thing. But
Yeah, yeah,
I miss those days of
yeah, yeah,
sort of I almost feel like there's too much and if you wanted to like see your favorite bodybuilder training, you'd have to send away to their if they have a training video,
Yeah,
a D like all those old little VHS videos
yeah,
or
yeah,
mock video when he would do all the coverage of couldn't wait for that Olympia
yeah,
coverage going to show, and he'd
yeah.
follow around all the bodybuilders. It's kind of lost its mystique in a way. I really miss those magazines. They were
Yeah,
just it was so much fun.
it's it's a shame, it's a shame because like I said, we used to look forward to it and even what do you call it? The bodybuilders used to aspire to get on the cover. That was their
I was
goal.
just gonna say that, like getting on a
Yeah.
cover was
Yeah,
huge.
that was their goal to get on the cover and just that was even if they didn't win a contest, that cover shot would be framed everywhere in their house, you know what I mean? And
I was just gonna say it. So the first time that I went to Jay's house, Jay
yeah,
Cutler's house,
yeah,
and he took me into his office. Man, it was a shrine, bro. Like just,
yeah,
I mean, and obviously he was on a few hundred. Just all the magazine covers he was on, just
yeah,
all over the walls with his
yeah,
Sandow trophies here and his Arnold Classic
yeah,
trophies here. So cool. But the coolest part was just seeing all those magazine covers that he did, and those photographers,
yeah, they,
Mike Nephew, Bernal,
yeah,
Ralph Dahan, all those photographers. Um, you know, just getting those perfect shots. And sometimes you'd be
yeah,
like, you'd look at the cover and be like, oh my God, that's the coolest pick ever.
yeah,
Like
yeah, it's true,
it's
it's true. So back then it was just different, I mean,
well, I'm
uh,
glad that we got to live through those days,
yeah, of course.
because it would kind of suck to not have lived through those
Kids
days. Like
don't know today what it means. Even car magazines, anything, any magazine, they don't know what it means. They just go online and they find,
yeah, it's a different world. And that's the two. So without getting into to a technology
yeah,
talk.
yeah,
That's the two sides of it. Like some sides, like yes, it's very cool to be able to at your fingertips go on and
yeah,
find stuff. But
yeah,
at the other side, it's not as
yeah.
exciting. It's not as magical as it used to be.
That's
It's
it.
almost like like you see a magician do a trick and it's unbelievable, but then they show you how they do it, and you're like, oh, that's not so special anymore because now I see what you did.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of like that with the
No, no,
bodybuilding. But I
it's
think it's
true.
true that the reason
Yeah,
why you brought it up, I think that part of
yeah,
the fact that we
yeah.
don't really know the
Uh,
winners of some of these big national shows to turn pro is because they're not in the magazines. They're
yeah.
not in the magazines.
No, no, it's true. It's true. No, no, it's true. It's true what you're saying. It's true. I mean, 100%, 100%. Uh, I mean, it is what it is. Speaking about magazines, remember when we interviewed David, our friend from
The Elite
Nigeria?
Pro.
Yeah, the the pro guy. The interview was featured in a magazine of the IFBB. This literally, I they asked me to word out the interview we did, and they did a whole feature on him.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and it has, all the funny things he said and all that stuff, and they gave a link to the show as well, the Masunu to our show and everything like that. And speaking about this guy, they about David, they these rumor shows, these podcasts on like we're saying, social media. Um, he comes out with a title, David, this guy's gonna move to the NPC, and it's like I, and he goes on Fuad show and says the same thing, and I sent him. I said, how can you say something like that when the guy is on record saying that he's not going to move to the NPC anytime soon? He's taken care of by the IFBB. He doesn't pay for anything. He just goes to a show, wins, and goes back home. paying for nothing. He said that, he doesn't have those options with the pro league. You know what I mean? And he said, yeah, but he mentioned it. I said, everybody's going to say who knows what's going to happen in the future, but at the moment, he is going nowhere. And I asked him, and he said, Kev, he said, I'm going nowhere. He said they blew it out of context. You know what I said? I mean, it's like certain things, people say it's just for clicks and likes. You know what I mean? Those things never used to happen in magazines before. I mean, either the athlete said what he had to say in the magazines or somebody interviewed him. I mean, and you had great writers like Peter McGuff, you and other guys, putting out great articles and even contest footage. They were so detailed, things you don't, not even a commentator can say. What like Peter used to write down, or what's his name? That other writer that used to write amazing contest footage reviews. Oh,
Well, there was a lot of them.
he used to do a lot in the 70s. A fantastic writer. Oh God, what's his name? He was a bodybuilder as well. Uh, um, the black guy, what's his name? Anyways, I forget. I forgot at the moment. But
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Rick.
Rick.
I was almost going to say Rick Collins, the
I was
lawyer,
gonna say
but
Rick James.
I can't. I know Rick. He was a bodybuilder. He had a big afro.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rick Wayne.
Rick Wayne. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Rick Wayne.
he was an amazing writer.
He was a fantastic writer, great interviewer.
Yeah,
Um,
amazing writer. Um,
yes, he was terrific, and
he used
he
to.
was a hell of a bodybuilder too. He
Yeah,
had some physique on him
yeah.
back when
He
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 competed.
was an
Thick.
amazing bodybuilder, and his articles, his content, and even the scorecards, everything was on display. You would know who judged what, and it was just a different era. There was a lot of effort put into the magazines. The magazines made a lot of money for the publishers, you know. But then obviously, I think the last nail in the coffin was when Jake Wood bought all the magazines, Flex, Muscle and Fitness, and all that stuff. He bought them and shut them down, you know.
Well, the truth of the matter was it's a business thing. It wasn't making money anymore. Everything
Yeah,
turned to the internet.
yeah,
I mean, I even remember as a writer myself, and I got paid very nicely for being a writer. Uh, and then when it started to phase towards the internet more, they weren't paying the writers as much money anymore because
yeah,
just the
yeah,
magazines weren't getting
yeah,
the millions of subscriptions that they used
yeah.
to
And
get,
then,
and you just saw the writing on the wall. I mean, then luckily for a while, I also got to write for Muscle and Fitness Online. I got to write
yeah,
for Flex Online. I got to write for Iron Man Online. So I was able to transition. But it was just not the same. Just not the
yeah.
same.
And then,
Not the same as a physical
yeah,
thing in your
yeah.
hands.
And then muscular development shut down, and that was it.
And yeah, and I wrote for them too. So yeah, I mean, and then they shut down, and that was
Yeah,
and I remember Robert Kennedy's magazine, Muscle. My first article ever that I ever got published was in Muscle Mag International,
yeah,
which
yeah,
was such an incredible thing. But yeah, they're all gone. But at least you and I and others have saved a lot of our magazines,
yeah, 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 of
so we
course. And then
have proof of it. But
mention him again. Then there's my buddy Ray that has probably every magazine that was
yeah,
ever
well, he's
published.
on another. One day he'll get on the show
Yeah,
and
yeah. He's
show
at the moment. I asked,
his
but at the moment he's a
museum of.
bit busy and he couldn't make it. But he'll come. He'll be here one day. Um, Yeah, it's a shame. I really miss them other magazines, like I said. And then I mean, to be honest, seeing the way I used to like the way they designed the magazines, and that pushed me into working in the design industry, like studio director for like 25 years. And I used to love the way they designed the bodybuilding magazines, back then. They used to really take a lot of time and doing the artworks, it was just a great, I think it was a great era, it was just amazing. So and all those small ads in the back, remember all those small ads that they used to
Oh yeah.
do?
Yeah, on the back would be
Yeah.
everything from like little magic muscle formulas
Yeah,
that
yeah.
probably did
Yeah.
nothing to the things with the throwing sand in the guy's face on the beach because he's a really
Yeah.
skinny
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Remember those ads? And then he
Yeah.
goes and he builds muscle and he goes back
Yeah.
and he throws sand in the other
Yeah.
guy's
Yeah.
face. This
The
little
yeah, it's I mean it's crazy, but listen, I mean we'll move on, but comic books are still in, people still love those. It's amazing, you
comic
know?
books is kind of a different
You know what I mean? It's like,
thing.
you
You
know,
can't, it's hard to replace a
yeah,
comic
that's
book.
the thing. It's art, people wanna,
It's
it's
yeah, it's like
amazing.
it's a piece of artwork.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
like I mean, but even like a photo, it's different when you see it in a magazine than when you see it online, you know? I mean,
I'm
it's
sure if we
different.
spoke to all the photographers out there, even though a lot of them may still be working, they probably miss shooting
Yeah,
magazine layouts and
yeah, yeah,
cover photos and things like
yeah,
that. And
yeah,
you know, yeah, so yeah,
yeah.
it's just not the same. It's
It's
not the
like
same.
even you see a photo of an event. That's not how the bodybuilder looked on stage, And I mean, even I take photos. I just finished taking photos for 4 contests in Malta of the IFBB. You get some athletes saying, "Oh, my veins are not showing that much." I said, "Because you didn't look like that." Then I'll tell you want to see your veins showing, and you just drag a bit to the side, an option, and you say, "Look, now you have your veins, but that's not you. That's not you on stage. You didn't look like that." You know. Then you give them the photos, and I don't know what the hell they do to them, and it's like I didn't take that photo. You know what I mean? It's like when you see them in the magazines. All right, they used to airbrush a bit, but they didn't used to destroy the photo and make him look like something that he wasn't. It's just
Hey, that's another point though, with photos now and videos that get up on Instagram and everything like that.
yeah,
Now it's so easy to make yourself look 100 times better than you
yeah,
actually look.
yeah. I mean,
Couple of filters, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom, you
yeah.
look
How many
incredible.
times we see a bodybuilder and we say, "Oh, look how he looks amazing. He's gonna, geez," and then he comes on stage, he looks like a potato, you
Yeah,
know?
you're like, where are all those striations and
Yeah,
everything? Well,
well,
no, because you don't have a filter on stage.
yeah, yeah. So it's crazy. I mean, even the video, it's so high definition. It's like, does he really look like that? When you see these videos, I mean, I don't know. It's things are changing so fast, and even AI is getting mixed into it. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you don't know what's real anymore. You have to see. It's
that's
just
a whole other conversation. We do not know what's real anymore.
yeah,
It used
yeah,
to be like, oh, if it's not in a picture, it's not real. If it's not in a video, it's not real. Well, now the pictures and the videos aren't even real.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I know, I know.
no. But anyway,
Anyways, so moving on, we can touch upon a bit of the Olympia and a bit of the Arnold. Cutler this week, Jay Cutler, in one of his interviews, he mentioned that he thinks that Andrew Jack can win both the Arnold and the Olympia. Now, that's a bold statement, coming from a guy that knows the sport and has a good eye for the sport, So, um, I don't know. Do you think that he's right that Andrew Jack is the next guy in line, removing Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford and Samson out of the way?
well, okay. Well, first thing I'll say is that about a week or 2 weeks before Jay came out and said that, I was out to lunch with our good friend Dave Borlay and Jay, and we were talking about that. And Jay said the same thing. He said Andrew Jack is going to be the guy he thinks that's going to win the Olympia. And when I had said to him, I said to him, what do you think? Why do you think that? He just like he's just becoming, his opinion was he's just becoming very overpowering. Who has his width? Who has his, small waist? Like who has that?
Yeah.
Um, so so he actually does think that. It wasn't just for an interview. He said it to me and said it to Dave. Do I agree with him? Um, I can't say that I agree or disagree because is Andrew Jack of the caliber? I mean, he just placed third. A lot of people thought, a lot of people, if you look at what they say, thought he should have won.
Yeah,
Um, some people think that he should have placed at least second, whatever.
yeah,
So he definitely has the arsenal in his physique to be Mr. Olympia, especially
yeah,
because he's also at this point he manages to be the biggest guy on stage, I'd say, in terms of just width and breadth
yeah.
and a lot. I mean, I would say him and Samson, um, but I don't know. I think that's still, but I can't say that I look at Andrew. Andrew has some poses that he really beats everybody in hands down. But
Yeah.
then he has some other poses where I don't think he beats everybody hands down, and that's the other guys are more complete than him. Um, I still think that he can be a little bit sharper.
Yeah.
Um, I still think I know that people don't really care about forearms. I feel like his forearms are very long and he needs more muscle in his forearms. They actually
But
bug me a
yeah,
little bit compared to his upper arms. He's got tremendous legs. I think you get a little bit more sweep on the outside.
yeah,
Um, can he win the Olympia? Is he going to be? Yeah, 100%. But I still think that when you look at a guy like Samson, when you look at a guy like Martin Fitzwater, um, and then and obviously still Hottie and Derek, I wouldn't say that Andrew's a lock. I mean, he's still going to have to come in his best ever
yeah.
and fight for it,
That's the
but he's
thing. Yeah,
certainly
yeah.
capable. He's certainly, if he, I would not be surprised at all to see him win.
I
You
mean,
know,
not surprised to see him win, but I still think he has a lot of work to do. You know,
that's what I'm
like,
saying. He still
yeah,
has
no, no,
flaws.
exactly. Like, I agree
Yeah,
with
I
you. Like,
still feel like he has flaws.
I mean, Jay Cutler, he even said back then he stood out, him and Ronnie Coleman from the rest, because even when they turned to the side, they were thick, thick. When you see like, Jay Cutler said it. That one of the reasons, and that he's the first guy I heard say that. When Derek won this year, one of the reasons was because when he goes to the side, he had that thickness, from back to chest, When you see Andrew Jack, that's why I paused it there like that. I was going to mention it. He's not that thick, He's wide and tall, but he's not. When you get used to get Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, and just look at them from their side, they were like, massive. And Derek is the same thing. If you put them to their side, he outsizes Hardy, and that those little things make a difference. So and I think Andrew still has to fill in a lot of places. He's not like he's huge, he's big. I like him. He has a great character. He's fun. And all this stuff. But are you Olympia? Do you have the Olympia physique? That's the thing, that extra, you know, that I think Derek has at the moment and Samson had as well. But now he's going into that 350-pound thing or whatever the hell he's doing. I mean, which I think is unhealthy. And I think he still has to size down. He can't walk on stage like that. If he's gonna play the size game, I don't know if it's gonna benefit him. You know what I mean? So we have to see what's gonna happen because imagine you see a huge Samson and then you get a shredded Andrew next to him. Who's gonna win? Andrew, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of other things is that, you know, I I personally had Hottie winning this past Olympia, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But when you look at somebody like Hottie, you say, what can he really do to get better? I don't know what Hottie can really do. I think he's kind of maxed out his size. I mean, we know his conditioning is going to be amazing. I kind of almost say the same thing about Derek. I think that Derek's he can't really get bigger.
yeah,
I don't, he's, I mean, yeah, maybe his chest his
Yeah,
chest and his quads could be a little bit bigger. But when you have guys like the taller guys like Andrew and Samson, there's still a lot more room for improvement in those
exactly. No,
guys.
no, it's true. It's true.
So who knows what, they're going to bring next year um, in terms of improvement. And if they improve and Derek and Hottie don't have as much room for improvement, they could jump ahead of those guys.
Yeah.
Um, and then another thing is, I think who's become sort of, even though we was a little disappointed with his attitude lately, Martin has become somebody that has to be in the mix
Yes, yes, yes.
because he has
Fantastic physique.
gotten that good that he is now, if he would have looked like he did in, was it Romania? What was the last show he did? Was it
Prague.
Prague?
That's where
Prague.
everything. Yeah.
If he looked like he did in Prague at the Olympia, I think he would have been battling for third place with Andrew. Um, so he's another X factor. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, listen, I respect the hell out of Jay. Jay knows what he's talking about. Jay also knows he's on the inside of the industry, so he kind of knows where
Yeah.
things are
Yeah.
going. Like he
Right.
probably can get a feeling for things. So maybe Jay's thinking that they want to kind of return to the taller, bigger, you
Could
know,
be. Could
type
be.
guys.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, Andrew he was third. He
Yeah.
perfectly
Yeah.
capable of winning. I just think that if he improves. I mean, if I was Andrew, if I was Andrew, I would, even though it probably would be more beneficial to just go straight through the Olympia, you got to
Yeah.
hit the Arnold Classic, man, because that $750,000 paycheck,
That's the
having a
thing.
shot at
Yeah.
that,
That's
yeah, I mean, I feel like you
that
got to go for that.
that's freaking people out, you know. It's like if they don't go to it, you know, it's like I had a chance to at least place third or second, you know. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's a
don't know.
tough one. That's a tough one to not do. I think we're going to see a lot of the top guys there.
Yeah.
But at least there is a good amount of distance
Of
between Arnold
course.
Classic and Olympia. So you can do both.
Yeah. I
But
mean, they'll
I
do
would.
both of them, the one in the UK, and you get 1 million, you know, if you win both, you know.
Yeah,
So
you know, I would not be, I mean, it would not be shocking to me, if Jay would say something like, "Oh, I think that Crizzo is going to win the Olympia this year," I'd be like, "What? What are you talking about? Like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not making that jump."
yeah,
Or Antonio Burton, I'd be like, "Yeah, he looks great, but he's not making that jump."
yeah,
But Andrew is third.
yeah.
He's right in there. So, and like I said, a lot of people had him winning. So, I mean, I can't disagree with Jay, but I can't say that it's a lock. Yeah, he's going to have to come in. He's going to have to be improved, and but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And then, you know, talking about big guys, then you have Shaun Clarida, right? I don't know if
Now
we
we'll
touched
switch
on
to
this
now
last
we're
week,
going
but
to somebody who's taken down big guys.
yeah. So I think we did, now I'm remembering, I think we did touch on it, but Shaun Clarida is qualified for the 212 lifetime, and he
And the
qualified for the
Open.
Olympia this year as well,
Yeah, he
right?
just beat a couple of pretty
Yeah.
impressive guys over at Japan.
Yeah. Yeah. So um, at the moment, the rule is that Clarida cannot compete in both the 212 and the Open, right? So saying that, Clarida took a place of an open class bodybuilder
Correct.
unless he wants to compete in the open class and let go of the 212 because he's already qualified in the 212, so he's not taking the place of anybody because he's lifetime qualified, right? So he doesn't, it's not like he's taking the place of somebody. But if if he's in the open, I mean, you know, it's funny. He's the underdog against Keon, where this year he was almost winning at one point. You know what I mean? So he still can push, you know, Keon a bit. But then against open bodybuilders, somehow he's finding a way to win. You know, I can't understand this. You know?
He is. Listen, he's a short bodybuilder with in terms of being packed with muscle, he's as packed as anyone
Yeah,
with muscle. But look at the lineup that he beat in Japan, and then put him into like an Arnold Classic lineup.
yeah.
He's not winning an Arnold Classic. He's not,
No, no.
so he has to consider, if I did the Open Olympia,
Yeah,
is it better for me to go into the 212 with a small chance of winning? I
yeah,
mean, I don't know if he still feels that he can beat Keon. I don't know if that's even possible because Shaun was at his very, very, very best at the
yeah,
Olympia.
yeah,
Keon was a little bit off for him and he still won. Um, is it makes more sense to be gunning for, a top three placing at the,
yeah,
uh, at the 212 or gunning and trying to see if he can get into the top 10 at the Open Olympia? I guess that's just a decision he's going to have to make.
yeah,
Personally, I wish that they would let him compete in both.
yeah. I mean, the guy's massive, but I don't think it's a problem of, you know, taking too much time and things like that. It's just one competitor, and the events are not on the same day, if I'm not mistaken, you know.
No, 212 will be done on Friday and then
Yeah.
the Open's on
So
Saturday.
he he's the guy that's going to suffer a bit. He's not slowing down the show or anything like that. If he's qualified, he's qualified.
I don't, and then, listen, Keon could very easily decide to do an open show again and win in 2026 and then be qualified for both.
yeah,
That could happen. So I don't know. I wonder, I don't really know. I would love to ask uh Steve Weinberger or Jim
yeah,
Mannion, whoever,
yeah.
like what would be the reason why you wouldn't want to let them do
I don't
both?
think
Like,
it's
I don't know.
Steve that decides. Steve's a judge.
So
I think it's
Jim,
it's
I mean, it's
it's
Mannion, right?
yeah, it's Manions.
So I would
Or
wonder why Mannion
or
wouldn't
or
want
the Olympia people, could be. It could
Jake.
be coming out from Jake Wood's office,
Well, I would
that
imagine that they'd all probably, Steve and
Mannion.
Jake and Mannion, they probably have a
Yeah,
conversation together
yeah,
because they're all, at the top of the thing. But
yeah, yeah,
I would wonder what would be the reason to not allow it.
yeah. I don't think it's not like there's gonna be like 10 guys doing it. So if imagine 5 2-1-2 guys win pro shows in the open, right? And they qualify as well for the 2-1-2, and they don't go to the pro show. That's 5 bodybuilders less, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So so if you allow a 2-1-2 guy to compete, and these guys are always in great condition, and there's a good chance that they win the smaller shows, not letting them compete at the Olympia will result in lower numbers of open athletes at the Olympia.
Yeah, right.
Because,
What do you do with the guys if you just say, like, say Keon won one, Sean won one? Hey,
yeah,
the guy who plays third, I forgot what his name is at the 212, was freaking phenomenal. He can
yeah,
win an
yeah,
open show too. They take three spots from guys who,
yeah.
like,
So,
so do you give it to the second place guys?
no,
No.
yeah, that's the thing. So, we're going to a new era that, you know, we have to see what's going to happen, because Clarida's breaking down some walls, and I think the federation are under pressure to decide what they're going to do. So
I think it would be fun. I mean, I think it would be fun to see
I
them
would love it.
compete in both.
Imagine he places top five or top six, and he gets some money, and he places second at the 2-1-2. He makes more money there. It's great exposure for him. It's good for the sport, I think. Letting him compete in both. So
Well, maybe now that Sean won an open show and he's obviously qualified, maybe it's a conversation they're having that we don't even know. Maybe
yeah,
they're like,
it's not
well,
the first time he qualified.
yeah, true,
You
true,
know.
true.
But now they're
So,
making a thing about it, that, should he compete or not. So it's interesting to see
well,
who knows, it might change by the end of the year.
I don't see anybody, I wouldn't see anybody having a discussion about it like we do, like say, look at all the bodybuilding podcasts that are out there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see anybody going, no, I think it's a bad idea. I don't really see any reason why it would be a bad idea.
No,
So
I mean, you got guys that went to the point, like Lee Priest saying this is one of the reasons they should scrap the 2-1-2. Just compete in the open class because the small guys can win. You know, just compete bodybuilding. Like that argument in the past. There was Sean Ray, Samir Banu wasn't some tall guy. Lee Priest, Danny Padilla, Franco Colombo. They're all short guys, and they all did well. In open contests.
if you're that
Mohammed
good, you're that
Makawi,
good.
you
You
know,
know,
Mohammed Makawi, uh, there's so many. There's so many short guys,
remember
and
Flavio Baccanini? It was 4'11.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Flavio Baccanini was 4'11, and he used to place in the top five of pro shows sometimes because his
yeah.
conditioning was
So,
insane.
Lee Priest has a good argument as well, so this is starting a lot of conversation, and we have to see what happens,
Con-
I think things will
Conversation's
change.
good for the sport.
Yeah, I think it will change eventually.
Did
Um,
you see, speaking of Lee Priest, did you see that they're still having the debate over whether Lee Priest would beat Keon or if Keon would beat Lee Priest?
yeah, yeah. It's funny. It's funny how it's funny how every time they want to compare somebody, they pick Lee Priest. You know?
Yeah, it's always Lee Priest versus
Yeah,
Keon, but I think
yeah,
Lee Priest finally came out and said I would beat Keon.
yeah. I mean, Lee Priest is, you know,
Well,
he had a
listen,
fantastic physique.
Lee Priest can say, I've beaten Ronnie Coleman,
Yeah,
I've beaten Nasser,
yeah,
he can
yeah.
say he's beaten some
Lee,
pretty big
Lee
people.
Priest was an animal. Lee Priest was an animal, so it's crazy.
That's just a fun
Yeah,
debate.
yeah. So just touching a bit on contests as well. This weekend there was the historic IFBB World Amateur Championships in Saudi Arabia. Uh, um, Obviously, they have a new thing now is bodybuilding and classic physique is semi-pro. They moved it away. The amateur show does have master bodybuilding and other bodybuilding categories, but like the hardcore open bodybuilding and classic physique, they threw him in a semi-pro category. The guy that won the overall is this guy. He's a very popular bodybuilder, uh, Mohammed Mohammed Al Elman. He won the overall in masters, and he won the overall in open bodybuilding. Huge bodybuilder, you know. Uh, what's funny is you see him here getting his medal. Obviously for them, it's winning the world championship is something huge. You know, uh, so that's him winning his the open bodybuilding title. But if you go a bit back, what is funny is uh, he used to train with Milos as well, and he competed in the you know he was a he was an IFBB pro, which I can't understand.
So what you're saying is that he actually has IFBB Pro League status
Yeah, he competed at the New York Pro once, I think.
and then
Yeah,
competed, and then I guess basically what, just decided to give up that status and go compete at the World Amateur Championships?
yeah, yeah, and not him only. There was another bodybuilder. Look, you see. Um, This was a while ago, but he's with Milos here. So um, the thing is, it wasn't only him. There was another bodybuilder as well. I can't remember his name. I think he competed in classic physique. Uh, and he competed this year at the Dubai Pro as well, you
So
know.
did
So
he? Okay, so explain to me because you know more about
yeah,
the other side of the IFBB than me.
yeah,
So if
yeah,
he went back and he just won the World Amateur Championships,
yeah.
was he competing as an amateur and then now just got a
No,
pro
no,
card again?
semi-pro is amateur. They just call it semi-pro. They
So he just
separated the
competed as a semi
bodybuilding. Yeah,
semi pro.
yeah, that's amateur.
So that's considered amateur. So he went
Yeah,
back and he really competed as an amateur after
yeah.
being an IFBB pro.
IFBB Pro with the other guys with Mannion. Yeah.
I like I can't I'm trying to figure out whether that's fair or not.
The way I'm seeing it is because it's such a prestigious title, and you remember what happened to you remember what happened with Kamal El Garni when he was an amateur. He's on record saying he made hundreds of thousands of dollars representing his country. Remember the world championships is you represent your country. You can't go there as a single bodybuilder.
Right. It's
So
like with the Olympics, like we just
that's
talked
that
about.
was Ben Weider's dream. That's
Right.
why they changed it from the Mr. Universe to
World
World
Amateur Champion.
Championships. So, um, and some countries, if you win the World Championships or place in the top three, the government gives them a ton of money, you know. So these guys might make more money than a Mr. Olympia throughout the year.
Right. I mean, I understand the reasoning, maybe financially, why they do it, but my question, is it fair to the other guys who never earned pro status that they had to go against the guy who really did earn pro
Yeah, I
status?
know. But the thing is, they crossed the federation. It's like Crisio. He was with, you know, the IFBB pro on the side of Rafael, right? And he had to go compete as an amateur with the MPC. And Rubel, when he went to Prague, he just came fresh from Rafael as a pro and he competed and he won his pro card and he
So
placed in the
they made him turn pro in the pro league, the IFBB pro league, even though they were pros in the elite. See that they had to re-earn pro
yeah,
status
they
in
had to re
the elite.
so he went backwards, here. And like I can show you another picture. Where's the guy? Because even bodybuilding, without borders brought it up last weekend as well. And that's when I noticed that these guys are crossing from one side to the next. Give me a sec here. Let me find this photo. Uh, because I was talking to the guy of bodybuilding without borders, and he couldn't understand it. This guy as well. Let me show you. This guy,
Right. Oh yeah, you showed me him. Yeah, I've seen
yeah,
him
he competed at the Dubai Pro.
in the IFBB Pro League.
Yeah, and,
Huh.
and you know, and he said maybe the IFBB Pro League has lost its prestige with too many pro cards, and is not the end all be all league anymore. You know, and you have to remember these guys to compete in America. It's a pain in the butt. You know
Visas and all that stuff.
on the visa. So they say, why not, you know, look, you see this guy wrote,
Due to visa refusals.
and lack of assistance for players with travel and visa procedures to America and Europe to participate in professional championships. And Mr. Olympia, the elite union is a better option for Iraqi, they call it elite, but Rafael, it's been changed to IFBB Pro as well. So it's a bit
Right.
confusing,
Right.
and,
Uh,
Um,
so
but I've been saying it for years. I'm not saying the Pro League is bad. I've been saying it for years. For many countries, the World Championships, I've went to a couple of World Championships that were held in Europe. Okay. Now they're going to Dubai, Saudi Arabia, lavish events, first class, everybody's treated first class and everything like that. When you go to there's the European championships are at a certain level, the highest level in Europe. When you go to world championships, like I've always said, you'll see 10 Hadi Chupans on stage. How are you going to, the athletes are in just such great condition, and they're all capable of being pros, but they keep competing as amateurs because they want that world title, they want to say they are a world champion, and these guys go mad for that title. It's unbelievable. For me, that's the Olympia of the IFBB. Not even a pro. They do have the pro world championships, but for me, the ultimate competition for amateur is the world championships with the IFBB of Rafael. Now, there's many world championships, but this one you get like over 1,000 athletes going there.
But does by winning the world championships, winning your class in the world championships, does that turn you
Yeah, you
pro
get a
in?
pro card,
So
but
that guy who you just showed me,
he'll get a pro card.
so now he can compete in a
Yeah,
pro in
but the thing
Raphael's.
is, I've known athletes that have won over 20 pro cards, but they never turn pro.
Oh, they just, yeah, okay, so they
They
have
don't
the
want to
option to
turn
not even
pro.
turn.
They don't want to turn pro, because they know they're, I mean, I know many athletes that turned pro before the split. I mean, I know European athletes that got their pro card at the Arnold USA amateur. All right, they're from Europe. They came back to Europe. They kept competing as amateurs at the Worlds, the Europeans, Diamond Cups, and all these things. And they keep winning pro cards. And I asked them, I said, why don't you ever turn pro? And they'll say, look at me, man. I'm only like 90 kilos. What's 90 kilos?
To a 180, probably like about not 198 or so,
Yeah,
I
90
think.
kilos, right? So, um, 90, 2 pounds,
Yeah.
198 pounds, all right,
I
190
was right.
pounds, right?
Wow, my math skills are still there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
So 190 pounds. And they'll say, imagine me against a Crisio or Big Ramy.
But couldn't they do the 212?
Yes, they could have, but they just prefer to stay put. And
But because we've discussed that, like somebody like David, our friend David,
yeah.
he makes tremendous money. They pay him, they take
Yeah,
care of
yeah,
him so
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
But the amateurs don't necessarily get that.
It depends what country you're from. If you're from a country that for them bodybuilding is the end of all sports, like they're crappy at football, soccer, they're crappy at tennis, and bodybuilding is their way to make a name for themselves. The athlete will be reimbursed very well. Like
Mhm.
I said, Kamal, he was paid hundreds of thousands when he won the world championships, and he has won it. And then there's the Asian championships where they go as well, and they win tons of money, not from the show because you're an amateur, from the
So
governments.
it's like your government, and so
Yeah.
you're looked at as
So
an elite athlete, and they want you to
yeah.
represent their country.
Yeah, and I know for sure, I know some athletes when I took photos, they would send me that night and they would say, I need at least 2 photos. And I say, yeah, give me a chance. I just got, but I need them because I have to send them, to the officials because I won. They have to, they're gonna pay me. It's like, Jesus, you know what I mean? It's like, um, it's I mean, why would certain athletes come to Malta in the middle of for the world, for the contests we do? They come from all over the world, all over the world, just for a 2-day contest, and then you find out the reasons why. You know what I mean? It's like there's more to it than just winning an amateur title. There's, these, it's, but like I said, for a guy to leave the pro league and come back to amateur at the world championships, that's something big for them, especially the Iraqis, the guys from Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia. It's, in the last 2 years with the new, I mean, I don't care, I mean, much for the politics. I mean, it affects everybody, but it's not that easy to go to the States anymore, Eric, you know?
No, no, I know. I find it interesting, the whole thought process, but you could start to understand why some guys would stay put or maybe go back
Yeah, yeah.
or
Can
choose
you
to
imagine
stay in
like
that.
you have a physique like that, like, and you can't get to the States and now, all right, what's his name tried for many years? What's his name?
Peruse.
Behruz. He lost 3 Olympias. He couldn't go, right? Or 2, right? So in that meantime, he competed at the Dubai Pro, all right, or maybe in Romania, right? You get other guys, their coaches will say, listen, screw it, win a world title. That's prestigious as well. It's nice to say that you're a world champion. You know what I mean?
I guess it depends probably on your outlook
Yeah,
as your bodybuilder.
yeah,
You may be like, my dream is to win the New York Pro. My
yeah,
dream is to win the
yeah,
Arnold. My dream is to win
yeah,
the Olympia,
yeah,
and that's their dream. And then you have other people who are like, my dream is to win the world championships,
yeah, yeah,
or my dream is just to make the best living possible from
yeah,
bodybuilding. And that's
yeah.
so I think it just depends on the athlete and what
Listen,
their view is.
I remember when Lee Haney won the NPC in the first contest he went to, he had to go to the World Championships to get his pro card.
Yeah, that's how it
And
used to be.
he won the overall there. And then he got the invite to the Olympia. Because that back then, if you won the world champion overall bodybuilding, you would get a wild card to the Olympia,
Yeah, I
you know?
remember actually even when Mike Christian and Rich Gaspari turned pro, they both did it the same year at the World Amateur
Yeah,
Championships. Mike Christian won the heavyweight and Rich
yeah,
won the light heavyweight division. But there was so many tremendous bodybuilders
yeah,
from every country there. It
yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah, listen, the lineups at the world championship. So if you win your class, you have to go through maybe 30 or 40 bodybuilders. And then you have the overall from lightweight, middleweight, light heavy, heavyweight, super heavy. It keeps going. So the overall event, you're going about against about six guys that are shredded. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Like me, the more the better. I mean, for all I care, they can switch from one side to the next. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's the world of bodybuilding, and
yeah,
you should. Yeah, but it's a worldwide sport for everybody, and you should be able to choose what path you want to take.
yeah,
And there's really no wrong path. It's just a
yeah,
little bit different for everyone.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think it's kind of cool. And
yeah,
um, you know, listen, I'll say to I'll say to this day that when we had Dave on, people might not who would know who we're talking about, but if you go back some shows, I don't remember which episode it was,
yeah,
he had to be the happiest bodybuilder I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, yeah,
Smiled the
yeah,
whole show. You couldn't get the smile off
yeah,
his face,
yeah,
and it was purely because he's just loving life,
yeah,
and he doesn't care about winning the Olympia. He doesn't care
yeah,
about. He's so happy bodybuilding,
yeah,
and just doing it and being. I
yeah,
mean, that was the happiest bodybuilder I ever saw in my
yeah. And it
life.
was what, 2 weeks away from an event or what, a week and a
Most people are just like, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
man, and
yeah,
he's smiling and talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
training every body part every
yeah.
day when he was young.
Yeah, now his big show is in Siberia, in Russia.
Yeah, he's got
And
another big one.
in fact, I was asked to go, but their promotional team asked me if I want to go, but that's something there's a bit of tension at the moment. I don't know if it's the best thing to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
So
listen, they treat you well when you're there. We can't always see the bad side of things. There's a lot of nice people. So you can't politics doesn't mean everybody's the same. You know what I mean? So when it comes to bodybuilding, there's no politics. It's just the love for the sport.
yeah,
And
it's
it's
I
just
know that it's just everybody, when there's troubles with getting visas and this
yeah,
and that,
yeah,
you
yeah,
wish you kind of just throw all that stuff away and just like,
yeah,
everybody just wants to bodybuild. It's
yeah,
not a
yeah, yeah. But
not
it's
about politics.
it's I mean, you don't see Hadi Chupan, you know, running away or getting to America and not going to the Olympia and hiding as a refugee. He does the contest and he goes back home and he's treated like a king, you
Well,
know?
that's his home.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
his home.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean,
it's not like it's proven that he comes and goes. He comes
I
and goes
mean, big
back.
big Rami used to come
Yeah.
here and go back home,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatever. Dorian
Nobody's,
too. Dorian came here. He go back to
yeah,
Britain and
yeah. There were stories back in the day of the Olympics, certain countries, athletes getting to America and running away, but it doesn't mean that everybody's going to do that. But anyways, so I guess we
anyway.
better move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So we talked about that. We talked the prestige of the news. So the we can move into the
A look,
1985,
a look
looking
back.
back at the 1985
This
Mr.
is a
Olympia.
show that I you asked me last night or something what show I want to look at, and so I chose the 1985 Olympia because I believe it was in Brussels, Belgium, um, and it was Lee Haney's second Olympia. But we also got to see Albert Beckles placing
Yeah,
second at that show at age like, I don't know, 56, 7, 8. You
yeah,
had Rich Gaspari,
yeah,
the youngest guy in the show, like maybe 22, placing right behind Albert. And
yeah.
that's
There
where
you
he
go.
brought the striated glutes.
Yeah,
It was Mike Christian, Barry DeMay's first
yeah.
Olympia. Tom Platz, I think it may have been his last Olympia.
We
And
can
then we
check.
also had Sergio. I think Sergio came back in
No.
84.
Platz came back in 86 then. Yeah,
Oh, it was in
so
the 86. Okay, so he did oh, that's right. He did do the 86 Olympics. That was
yeah,
the second to last. Um, and then we had Sergio Oliva. He came back in 84. Then I think he did 85. Um, Bob Paris had some very interesting things to say backstage, which I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
And so it was
Paris.
great. And then we also talked a little bit about some very few people will remember John Brown, but
Yeah,
that was the original poser
yeah.
where he would do, like kind of like popping and locking and break dancing on
Yeah.
stage. He was
Listen,
like probably the first one to do it.
yeah. I mean, John Brown, that was his only Olympia, I believe. Yeah. It was his only Olympia. And we have to remember he taught, you know, he was the
Sean
guy
Ray,
that Shaun Ray, Chris Cormier, they all,
they
it,
went to him for posing.
it's
Yeah.
his style of posing. And what's his name? The one that used to break dance as well. Uh
There's a lot of them. Dareem, there was Melvin Anthony.
Melvin. I think Melvin was
Melvin might have gotten some stuff from him too.
yeah, yeah. I mean and his two sons play with the NFL, so this guy has
A
positive,
lineage of
yeah,
athletic in his
yeah,
body, in
yeah.
his
So
family.
it's quite amazing. And I found a bunch of photos. To be honest, last week we were a bit delayed because I uploaded our podcast and I had footage from the Arnold Classic that I used from Ronnie Coleman's Instagram, thinking that, we can use a couple of minutes of footage. Lo and behold, when I let it upload while I went to sleep because here it will be late at night. I wake up in the morning and I see, the copyright infringement and all this stuff. And I said, listen, it's better I edit it and I put in photos instead of the
So this time we're going to not even take a chance
photos.
and we're just going to use
Yeah.
photos.
We're gonna stay away from the videos, because it's a shame, but it is copyright, so it is what it is. And
Well, we like to play by the rules here on the
yeah, no,
Muscle
it's
Music
it.
Group.
I mean, YouTube is YouTube, so we have to you
Got to
know,
follow their rules.
follow their rules. There were
Yeah.
some strange things this week with YouTube, but that's something that we'll talk about another time.
We're
So,
just doing our best to put out the best stuff and we hope that
yeah,
YouTube
yeah, yeah,
pushes it out for us.
yeah. So this is um
Well, let's start. So we got Lee Haney dominated this
yeah,
show.
Elena, the photos are just, I found a bunch of photos and I put them in like this. So this is Brown, um, John
And
Brown
Bob
and Bob
Paris.
Paris. Bob had a fantastic physique, huh?
Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. It's a shame that, he fell out with the IFBB, but that's something else we can talk about another day. These are a bit of the lineups. Uh,
Just speaking of Bob Paris, look at him just standing there.
yeah, sculpture.
Look at that beautiful physique,
Yeah,
that upper body. Look at that.
yeah, yeah. He had an
And
eye
then
for
yeah, you have
bodybuilding.
look at
Yeah,
it, the guys in the top photo. You got Haney,
yeah.
Christian, Gaspari, DeMay. Classic.
Listen, Christian had a fantastic physique, huh?
He did. He was undersized in the legs,
Yeah, but
but
from the front,
he had some physique.
yeah, he had an incredible physique. I like, he's one of my favorites, huh? He's one of my, but
And
look,
I saw so in 1985 was the first time I ever went to the Night of Champions, which is now the New York Pro.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
my first pro bodybuilding contest that I ever went to. I think I was 17, and I saw Rich Gaspari make his debut there and Mike Christian,
yeah,
which was absolutely incredible to see. But Rich didn't even win the show.
yeah,
Albert Beckles won the show, who was
yeah,
up there in this photo. And Albert
yeah,
Beckles was like 57, and Rich
yeah.
Gaspari was less than
No,
half his age,
nobody
22
knows how
maybe.
old he is, you know?
It was speculated that he was in his upper 50s,
Yeah,
and Rich
yeah,
Gaspari was about 22. This was the
yeah,
top three right there. They
yeah,
have Rich in the middle, but Rich ended up in third.
yeah, yeah,
But this was a great show because this was where Rich Gaspari made strided glutes a
yeah,
thing in bodybuilding.
yeah,
He would go to the back and hit a shot, and he'd point to his glutes to show the judges,
yeah,
look at my glutes.
yeah. Look at this.
And then Muhammad Makawe,
Look at
I
that
believe,
physique.
fourth place,
Yeah,
probably weighed all of 162 pounds.
yeah. I mean,
And
you don't see shots like this anymore on stage, huh? Nobody dares to take a shot like that anymore, you know?
well, you could see that Albert Beckles is actually vacuuming,
Yeah.
which you don't see too. I mean, you got a couple. You got
Yeah,
Hottie will do it sometimes in
yeah,
Fitzwater.
yeah.
Um, but look at how
Great,
just
great event. I
and
mean,
these aren't even good photos, but look at how good
no,
these guys
no.
look.
I was lucky I found a Russian site and they had a whole bunch of photos from the 1985
Wow,
Olympics.
that look at that photo. That is John Brown. Somebody named, I think the guy in the center was named Wilfred Sylvester. He was about 5'2".
Yeah,
And on the right is Jacques Nouville. These names that nobody are going to know, but of
yeah,
course I'm 125 years old, so I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But yeah, look at this.
It's amazing, eh? Look at this shot. Barry DeMay, you know.
Yeah, look, that's a tremendous shot. Look at those side chests right there.
Was it in 86 that DeMay got his third place?
That was in 88.
88? Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, he was coming up as the poster boy for the IFBB, huh? The blonde guy, good-looking
Yeah,
guy.
he was a little off at this show. He had
Yeah,
great shape, but he was not that hard. And then Mike Christian only managed fifth place also. It was Rich who made the big stir.
yeah,
He was like 21 or 2 years old, and
yeah,
he was backstage. And Rick, it's funny because we were talking about Rick Wayne before. So Rick Wayne was backstage doing the interviews with the guys, and he said to Rich Gaspari, you know, you're up on stage and you're standing on stage with Sergio Oliva. He's like, how does it feel to stand on stage next to Sergio Oliva?
yeah.
And Rich goes, I don't know. I don't look at him. He goes, I just worry about myself. Like he's just I just worry about myself. And he's just
Yeah,
like, I'm going on stage to win, period. And
yeah,
that's how he thought about
yeah.
himself.
That's the mentality, eh?
Yeah.
Here you go again, you know. Uh, some photos are duplicates. Look at this, the back shot. This was some magazine. Look at that. The detail, you know?
Rich, oh man, look at Albert Beck. His back was so detailed.
Yeah, yeah.
Look
Amazing.
at Muhammad Makawe hitting it like a classic shot
Yeah, wow.
before classic existed.
Listen, man, when you talk about posing, Muhammad Makawi was just
One of the best of all time.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
One
You
of
know,
the
look
best
at
of all
this,
time.
the ab shot, you know.
Yeah, Rich had a great ab shot.
Look at Lee
Look at Lee
Haney.
Haney,
Wow.
small waist. I think Lee Haney said he had like about a 29-inch waist. Well, he
Yeah.
weighed 243 pounds or something.
Well,
He dominated the show though, man. Lee
yeah.
Haney has dominated that
I
show.
mean, it's not so clear, but look at that lineup, huh?
Yeah, you got Frank Richard in there. You got Bob Birdsong. You got there's Tom.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Tom was very disappointed and they only got seventh place. He thought it was going to be top five.
Look at this. Nah, fantastic.
Look at Lee Haney's chest there.
Yeah, thickness.
The thickness and striations. And
Yeah,
actually, if you look at striated glutes, look, Mike Christian had striated glutes
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And his biceps were like the arm was an anatomy chart. It was, everything was separated,
And he had a great back too. He had a
Yeah,
great back shot.
yeah,
He had a
yeah,
great twisting back shot.
yeah.
Rich,
Of course.
that's first and second place, man. Look,
Yeah.
Albert Beckles gets second place to Lee
Yeah.
Haney in that show.
There you
That's
go.
there's
Look at
Sergio.
that. Look at that.
There's Sergio
Obviously,
leaving.
Sergio was on the, at the bottom end of his career. But still,
He placed in the top 10. He
yeah,
was still in the top 10.
yeah, yeah.
But the year before, just for people who are a little bit younger, the year before, so in the 1984 Olympia is where Sergio made his comeback, and it's where he
He
held
held. Yeah,
Sergio Jr. up
yeah,
on stage when he was a little baby,
yeah. He was just
maybe I don't know,
born.
1 years
Yeah.
old or something,
No, he was
and
very young. Yeah,
maybe even before year 1 year
yeah,
old,
yeah,
holding him up on stage, and now his son is one of the best bodybuilders. But look
yeah,
at Bob Paris.
yeah,
Uh, when they interviewed him backstage, I just happen to remember this show very well because this is back when it used to be on ESPN,
yeah,
and they would show the bodybuilding contest. And I remember Rick Wayne said to Bob Paris something about his physique. Are you gonna add the size that you need to start placing higher? And Bob said he said no. He goes, I build the physique, the physique that I want to build and what I think is the best. And as
yeah,
far as the placings, that doesn't matter to me.
yeah.
I just want to be the best bodybuilder I want to be. So I thought that was
Yeah.
an interesting.
Bob, I have his book Beyond Built. I had bought that when it came out. I mean, I've had it for years.
He
Yeah,
would be Bob would be classic bodybuilder
yeah.
size right now.
I mean, he had fantastic leg development, huh? They were,
He'd be up against like a Chris Bumstead.
yeah, yeah. Look at
Lee
that.
Haney, look at that, just that chest.
Yeah. And he was in great condition. Like these are old
He
pictures,
was
huh?
he was rock hard.
Yeah,
Rock hard. Look at that.
yeah.
You do not see too many front lat spreads like that today.
No. There, look at that.
There's Mike Christian also
Look at those lats, you know?
tremendous back
Yeah. Unbelievable.
in his 50s. In his 50s.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
There's Barry.
Barry looking,
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want to walk around looking like the Barry DeMay?
Tom.
Tom Platt still with the best of crazy
Yeah.
legs, man. Crazy legs.
There you go. Look at that.
That's a classic shot right there,
What a
Sergio.
shot that was, huh? Look at the condition, eh?
He's still, I mean, he was older, but man, he still had it.
Yeah. I used to love the way he dressed up, man. The pants used to be up to here,
Yeah, he
up
was
to
like,
his mid abdominals, and the shirts used to cut them, you know?
yep. A lot of famous pictures of him in magazines with the way he would
Uh,
dress with his
he
big
was
giant
so
arms
cool.
sticking out.
Yeah,
There it is. There's Sergio and Lee.
yeah. I don't know if this was, yeah, this is 85, I think, but sometimes they might mix up. But
That one's 80. I think that one's 84.
yes, it could be.
I
It
think
could
that's
be.
84 because I think that Sergio wore
Yeah.
the yellow trunks in
They
84.
might have made a mistake. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean I have the event on video, but I don't want to take a chance to show it, It's just it's it was a great time, a great era,
Yeah,
the
that's one least. That was the second of his 8 victories
yeah, I was
straight.
15 years old. You were 17, maybe 18.
Yeah, what was 85? I was about 17-ish,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was 15. I
And
was
that was
just
when I
start.
is first getting in, really getting into bodybuilding?
I was just starting to go to the gym. Yeah, right, because I got my driver's license at 16, and I used to already start training a bit. Yeah. Yeah, it was about that time. I grew up through the Lee Haney era. That's why I was like starstruck when he was on our show. I did the first half hours like, well, I'm talking to Lee Haney. It's like
It's
that
always
was
be
that,
interesting.
and what I was once at the was it the Arnold Classic or the European Championships? Anyways, I was walking. There was the weigh-ins, and I saw Barry DeMay, and I was like, God, that's Barry DeMay, because he used to represent his country and coaching the teams, and I saw him, and he said, "I know you. You're of that website, Evolution of Bodybuilding. You're Kevin." I was like, "Holy crap, Barry DeMay knows who I am."
So yeah,
And then I
yeah.
sat next to him for the prejudging of one of the events, and I'm like, "You're sitting there," and it's like I'm sitting next to you know, a guy that plays third in the 80s at the Olympia, it's like
Because back
amazing.
then it was like a big deal for us. We were
Of
like
course it
young.
is, People, listen, you know, people don't know. Like I said, we go back to the magazines. When you grew up seeing these guys on magazines, they were superstars. I don't care what anybody says, bodybuilding, or they say, oh, you're looking at men or whatever. I don't care. I looked up to them because that got me through life. It kept me on the right road. I didn't do anything stupid, kept me away from bad things. And, um, these guys, I looked up to them. I really looked up to them. I didn't know their characters. I didn't know who Shaun Ray was. I just knew Shaun Ray was an amazing, amazing bodybuilder, you know. And I remember I went to see Shaun Ray right after he won the Arnold Classic in 90. I went to the CNE, the Toronto exhibition. There was a Canadian bodybuilding contest, and he came with this limousine and his afro, and he announced there that he lost his title. That's when he found out, you know, and he couldn't go back to do another test or whatever, and he lost his title. He had to give back the money, and that's where he announced it. And who would know? Uh, 20 years later, 25 years later, I would spend, 3 days with him, walking around at the Honor Classic, having lunch with him, hanging out with him,
Right.
you know, trying to get him talk to Kevin Levrone again, because that was the time when Kevin announced his return, and Shaun said that he was delusional. And I'm really good friends with Kevin, and Kevin didn't want to talk to him no more. And Shaun kept telling me, let's go to Kevin's stand. And I'm saying, like, but Kevin doesn't want to talk. I'm like, I'm trying to get two legends to talk to each other. I'm a fucking guy that I looked up to these guys. You know what I mean? They talked for a bit, and then, they went their separate ways again. And then I had then Shaun met Barry DeMay, and I'm there in conversation with Barry DeMay and Shaun Ray. It's like, it's things that you don't dream of. It's crazy. It's just, and then ending up eating three VIP dinners with Arnold. In a small, it's things that it. But like I said, these guys that are on social media see the stars every day. They're like, how do you say? They get used to them. You see them somewhere, it's like, hey, it's Nick Walker. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, it's totally different. It's like it's like, if I don't know, let's pick a movie star. I don't know, Brad Pitt. Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like, if you go and if you end up, I don't know. I mean, I used to live in Beverly Hills for a little while, Beverly Hills, California, and I would go to the supermarket there. And there was a time where I think I saw Al Pacino at the supermarket.
yeah,
You know, I don't get starstruck by people. I'm not like
yeah.
that,
All
but
right,
still,
yeah,
it was
but
kind of like, holy cow, like, wow, that's like it's like,
yeah,
I'm only used to seeing him in some of the
yeah,
most incredible
yeah,
movies ever,
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
standing there. But like, for people who probably see him all the time shopping there, like
That's
maybe
the
like
thing.
it's not a thing anymore. It's just like, oh,
Yeah,
there's Al Pacino,
yeah.
you
It's
know?
like when I saw Tom Platz for the first time at the World Championships. He was a guest. All these body people were walking by him at the hotel, and I went for a walk. It was in Spain. It was nice. I went out. I didn't know he was there. And I walk into the hotel reception and I see him sitting there. And I said, I'm like alone. I was alone. I said, that's Stone Platz. God, I have to speak to him. He's alone. And we ended up 3 days, talking about the sport, getting to know each other. Really down to earth guy, and he's like the original Kai Green. You know how he speaks. He's
Yes.
a
He's a
motivator.
very interesting guy.
He's a motivator. You have to get out of shape to get in shape. You have to do this, do that. Wow, just
He's
incredible.
another he's on another
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of
It was
of what bodybuilding was
Yeah,
about.
yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and sharing ideas with him and stuff like that. And people don't understand. They'll never understand. They tell me, "What do you see in that guy?" Listen, man, that guy, he got me through. You know, you look up to these guys. When they were these superheroes in magazines. Today, it's over. That's over. It's finished. You're not going to see these things anymore. It's like Arnold. He's everywhere now. You see him at Gold's Gym. You see him on the internet. You see him on
Yeah,
the
it's not
news.
a big deal anymore.
See him
No,
on
it's not.
TV. It's like, it's not the same anymore. Unfortunately, it's
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about before with the magazine. It's a different
yeah,
time.
yeah.
It's a
So
different time. But
it's my, it's like, people tell you. You only do, but we've been around. You've been around. You've met many, but I've met the stars that I had to meet. So I don't need. I'm not really. I don't have to meet anybody. Like it's nice to meet everybody, but you know, um, you have certain conversations with some people. Sometimes you meet the stars you wanted to meet. They're not the people they turn out to be. I'm not going to mention who they are. You really make an effort to meet them, and they just give you their shoulders. It's like crap, man. You know what I mean? It's like not everybody's friendly. So
yeah, yeah, and it's but it's it's like it's interesting that we've been in the sport for so long, and and our careers in the sport have
yeah,
brought us to meet certain people and whatever that. So now, like I said, the other, 2 weekends ago, I was at the Cheesecake Factory with Jay Cutler, and
yeah,
it's like I
yeah,
remember back in the day when I'd be seeing Jay Cutler in the covers of magazines, being like, oh
yeah,
my God, like now every day when I see Flex Wheeler, I have a 20-minute conversation with him in the
yeah,
gym, and I used to look at Flex Wheeler like, oh my,
yeah.
so it's just interesting how it's gone to the,
And
but it's kind of cool when there's the cool part of the like looking up to them as like an idol kind of figure,
yeah,
but there's also the cool part of being able to just sit down and have a
yeah.
conversation with
There's
them.
the friend and that's what Jay Cutler said in his recent interview. He said it's very rare that somebody will just ask you, "How are you, Jay?" He said,
Yes,
everybody tells you, listen, Jay, I have a new podcast. Do you want to come on it? Or I have this new product, Jay.
yes,
Can you help me? Or
yes.
I'm just starting this out, Jay. Can you help? He said, on a human level, he can count on his one hand the real friends.
Wow, he really did go deep on that podcast because we had that conversation
No, I'm
uh,
telling you, listen,
the other day. We had that conversation where he said he really
yeah,
misses just sitting and having
yeah.
lunch with people
I
who
mean,
aren't trying to get something from him.
I mean, what screw it. I'm gonna promote it for these guys. I'm telling you, it's an inter. I mean, I wish Jay comes on our channel, but he's a busy guy. It's Jay Cutler Unfiltered on the Unracked podcast. Um, one sec. Um, let me just. It's playing where I left it off because I'm still listening to it. This is it. This is Nick Walker's. Sorry, this is Nick Walker's former coach. All right. It's what are the host names? What are their names?
I don't know. I don't know this podcast very well.
Nick Walker's former coach, right? Kai Wilkes and Andrew Berry. These are the guys.
Mhm.
So this interview, I'm telling you, Jay. look at all the subjects. It's so he really
All right, listen up.
he really went to you know, it's like when he started saying that, that people talk to him just, just to get to use his name, you know, and
Yes, yes.
and
It
that's
does
the
it bugs him.
it bugs him. And I've come into that problem even trying to in our little podcast that, we're still fighting to get a number of views. I invite people not to take advantage of their I don't care about their popularity. I just want to get to know them, you know. I'm not, I've had people that ask for money to be on our podcast and I'm like, we're not at that level,
Oh, I
I
know.
just want to get to know you better. You know what I mean? So I'm not hanging around with you because you have a million views. I mean, there are podcasts that you can tell a mile away that they are working with people because they are popular. All right. And I've seen the minute the views go down, that person's out, or they sponsor somebody, not because they believe in them, it's because their social media is through the roof, you know? You can Arnold Classic, I'm not afraid to say it. They work with people that have a high number of social media followers, Even though there are other podcasts like ours that are 100% bodybuilding, they don't couldn't care less about us because we don't have the numbers that other podcasts have, So I really felt so, I felt sorry for Jay when he said that. It's like,
Well, and because I said he said that to me and to Dave, talking. He made it a subject that he was talking about that he really um, can count on one hand people who are true friends of his, who he can just hang out with,
yeah,
not because they want anything, they just want to hang out with Jay. How
yeah,
you doing? How's life? How was your trip? How was your Thanksgiving?
yeah,
And that's it. Not following up that with, oh, by the way, I have something that I'd like you to promote. You know what I'm saying? Just like you
yeah,
were saying.
yeah.
And so when somebody like him says that, you know that it really does after a while probably get really annoying that somebody
Yeah.
always wants something from
Yeah,
you.
it's like uh I've had, I learned a lot in the last couple of years. I thought I had friends in the industry, but the minute I went back down to earth and I just wanted to stay as a friend and not include business, the minute I stepped out of the business side of things, they shut the door on you. Even after 10, 15 years of friendship that you would think is friendship. You know what I mean? Um, like me and you, we've been friends in and out of sometimes small business things, but we couldn't care less, Kev, we can't do this anymore. All right, no problem, Eric. Let's move on. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and we would also always check on each other. Hey,
Yeah,
how's things
like today
going?
I was looking for some emails for that. Like we spoke before the show. We go back 15, almost 16 years,
Yeah,
talking to each other on social media and stuff and sharing ideas, you giving me articles, I'm helping you out and things like that. It's literally you can count on one hand that people can that and even he mentioned, I mean, this podcast was incredible, huh? He even mentioned that Chris Aceto never told him, this is what he said, never told him what to take. He just gave him diet and some coaching, um, you know, help when he was younger. He never told him. He said that's what he said. Chris Aceto was just the food guy,
oh, then that's the case. That's the truth then.
So he blew me away when he said, because I thought, the coach would, the guru would tell you,
Not
do this, do
always.
that. You know what I mean? So,
Not always.
and he was very honest what he did and things he did, and that what kids are doing today is totally screwed up. He said other words, you know what I mean? So, and uh, and I think he's the only guy that I've ever heard speak so highly about his former wife?
Oh, but Carrie?
Yeah.
Well, you have to remember those two go back to high school,
Yeah, I know.
you
I
know,
know. I know.
sweethearts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has nothing bad to say about her. They're still
Yeah.
friends to this day. They're still close to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And she supported him
Yeah.
through all
Yeah.
his bodybuilding years. She was
Yeah.
there for him, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, he's
People move apart. I can understand it, but
they move apart that they're not together romantically
yeah.
anymore,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're still close friends.
Yeah.
They
Yeah. He
still
always
always
mentioned.
concerned with each other about what each other's doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they'll help each other out if
Yeah.
needed at any time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. All the things he talked about, we literally talked about over lunch.
Yeah. I'm
He
telling you,
he
this
he always speaks highly of her.
these guys got Jay at the right time, you know. They he said the only social activity I'm gonna have today is this interview. And because he's an introvert, he's alone all the time, you know. So he opened up on this interview. I've never heard him speak like that with anybody, you know.
You know what it is? I think, and I think it's also true of most people that I've met who are in their 40s, 50s, whatever. You kind of reevaluate life when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get a little older and you
yeah,
start to realize, you start to kind of like narrow the amount of people that you want around you. You start to
yeah,
say, these people are negative, or these people
yeah,
they drag me down, or they
yeah,
pull me
yeah,
down,
yeah,
or this is a yes man who will agree with
yeah,
everything I say just because
yeah,
it's me. And you start to narrow down the amount of people that you want around you
yeah,
that really are
yeah,
good people, and you eliminate everybody
yeah,
else. You
yeah,
start to realize that you don't want this many people around you.
yeah,
You just want your best people. And I
yeah,
think that once you start to get a certain age, that's when it starts to happen. And I think
yeah,
he's really there now.
yeah,
And I'm just glad that I'm one of the people, not that I see him every day, whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I will text Jay. He can tell you, I'll text Jay and I'll just say, like for Thanksgiving, I just said, "Hey Jay, I hope you had a really nice Thanksgiving." He
yeah.
texted me back and he said something like, he always said this to me. He's like, "Are you full timing? Are you full timing yet, Eric?" Like he jokes back, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to get anything from Jay, and
No.
Jay appreciates that. And so
You
I'm glad
know,
that I'm in his little circle.
he mentioned today, he said that one of the closest guys in the industry at the moment, the young guys, is Earth. Earth will send him a message like late at night. How you doing, buddy? And that's
Yeah,
it.
and that's what Jay craves.
That's all it is, you know.
Yeah,
That
just how
and
are you?
I'm telling you, these guys screw up every other interview that you can do with Jay because you to get a higher level than this interview. Whoever can watch it. It's on the Unracked podcast. It's over 2.5 hours. Whoever, if you're planning to interview him, you better get ready because he's mentioned it. The same interviews. How did you feel beating, Ronnie Coleman? Come on. It's like you can't ask him these things anymore, And
Well, it gets boring. It's like I've
yeah,
talked
it's
about it a hundred
monotonous.
times.
He wants to get challenged, you know.
Yeah,
Maybe ask him what's the next car he wants to buy or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
maybe financial stuff or you know, uh, when he talks to Chris Aceto, they don't talk about bodybuilding. You know what I mean? When he
yeah,
calls him, Chris is his mentor, you know what I mean? And he helped him
yeah.
all through his life, but it's crazy,
Let
but
me.
it's
Well, you know what? And I'm going to give it another special shout out since we're on the subject to Flex Wheeler.
yeah,
And we've had him on the show twice. Um, love having him on the show. Uh, and he's somebody who's gone through a complete
yeah,
change of
yeah,
the kind of person he is.
yeah,
Let me tell you something. Like I was in the gym with him the other day, and I was asking him how his Thanksgiving was, and he was, his daughter was there, uh, Pearl. She was in the gym with him. He usually brings her into the gym, does a little training with her, and we he asked me how my Thanksgiving was, and I didn't have the best Thanksgiving. I'm not going to go into a whole story, but I didn't have the best Thanksgiving, whatever. And he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he's just like, instead of just being like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," or "We're going to go train
yeah,
now,"
yeah,
he like basically pulled me in the side and he's just like, Eric, is everything okay? Is everything all
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like he really genuinely wanted to know if everything was
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and I was just like, oh, a couple of things. And then he's like, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but basically by the end of the conversation, he says to me, Eric, you have my number, day or night. Don't ever be afraid to call me if you want to
yeah,
talk,
yeah,
text me, whatever. Like that's
yeah, yeah,
genuinely putting yourself out there as a
yeah,
human being.
yeah.
And it has
Because
nothing to do
yeah,
with the fact
yeah,
that he is, and me talking to him had nothing to do with the fact that he was once one of the best bodybuilders
yeah.
on the entire
But
planet.
you know why he was probably like that as well? Not saying it happened to him, or maybe he felt like that when he was probably at his worst, finding out that he's going to lose half of his leg, or when he was getting the transplants. When he probably went to look for people, he found nobody. They probably
Right.
abandoned him.
Because all the people, right, abandoning him who were only there because he was Flex Wheeler,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But my point is
So he knows
that
what it feels like. So now, when he sees somebody like that, he doesn't want them to go through what he went through. You know what I mean? So,
right. He noticed that there was something bugging me and he wanted to talk to me
yeah.
about it. But the cool thing was is that from my side, I didn't he wasn't Flex Wheeler the bodybuilder. He was
No,
Flex
Flex
Wheeler, my
Wheeler.
friend.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's nice when you can get when you can build a relationship with people who
yeah,
used to be heroes of yours and now they're just on your
yeah,
level and they just want to
yeah,
just a nice
yeah,
thing. That's just a shout. That's just basically like if Flex wants to see this and he sees this, I want to shout out to Flex Wheeler
yeah,
because he's a
yeah,
true friend. He's a good
yeah,
a good man. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
um,
yeah. So
cool stuff. Cool
let's
stuff.
let's no, but bodybuilders are not meatheads. They're people too. That's all I want to say. They
Yeah.
have their lives. They did what they had to do. Jay Cutler is one of the guys that he listened to people. If he got 10 grand, he invested it. You know what he said today as well? Amazing. The first 60 grand that he won at a contest, I think it was the Arnold Classic. I can't remember. Or second place at the Olympia.
He invested it. He
He
invested
said,
it.
I'm still earning the fruits from that 60,000 that I
Yeah, he
invested
invested in
there.
real estate.
And
That's what he
he's a
done.
multi-millionaire today. You know what I mean?
He's
So,
got yes.
you know what I mean? So for me, he is what bodybuilding can do for you. If somebody says bodybuilding cannot make you money, it's because the guys that make more money than he did, they go, they just blow it. He used to go and invest it.
You know what? That right there, I would love to approach Jay and say, Jay, come on the podcast. Sure, we'll talk a little bit about bodybuilding, but
Yeah,
let's talk about how you built an empire
yeah, yeah,
through bodybuilding,
yeah,
what you did business
yeah,
wise, teach people how
yeah,
you handled your money. You didn't just blow it on
yeah,
cars you couldn't afford or
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
built an empire, you did it, and
yeah,
now he has multiple businesses.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that would be an interesting subject for
yeah.
him to discuss,
Yeah, and you would expect a guy like him to have a warehouse and people packing the
No, he's still in the warehouse packing
he
his
goes,
boxes.
he says, let me throw this guy a sticker and sign it.
I
Boom.
know.
You know what I mean? It's
That's
like
Jay, man.
that, it's one in a million. You
Yeah,
know what
he
I
could have a
mean?
whole load of people working for him if he wanted to do.
Of course he
And
could.
yet, him and maybe his
Yeah.
girlfriend
Yeah.
are in the thing packing
Yeah. But he still
boxes.
gets on a plane every weekend and goes to places. He does his time with the army. He supports all his friends at the events. He goes to, he's doing more work than the top bodybuilders in the world.
He's, like I said, I think he has world record 18 gazillion flyer miles that he could fly around the planet a
Yeah.
hundred times for
Yeah.
free now because
Yeah.
he
And he's
never has
getting
to
a
pay
bit
for a
tired, I
flight.
think, the way he was talking about it. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't blame
it's nuts.
him. I think he's
But
getting a bit tired, but he'll
but
he'll
he
keep
loves the grind. But Jay loves the grind. He
of
loves Monday
course.
mornings. He's ready to
Yeah.
go. Monday
Yeah.
mornings.
He'll
Ready to go.
he could. And I think they asked him, what would you do if you didn't have bodybuilding? He said probably have 8 kids and be working in the concrete business.
Yeah. Instead, he's got dogs this big.
Yeah.
He brought his dog to lunch, Capone.
Yeah.
He was so
Yeah.
cute. But
Um,
anyway,
but anyways, moving on, uh, ask Merlin.
What did you say? Were you
Yeah.
talking to me?
Hey, you notice he's not disappearing. I think it's your.
I think I found the right
Yeah.
shirt.
Shall we tell everybody before the show started? Eric had to change his top
Yeah,
because
so I had to
half
change
his
my
body was
top.
showing.
I was wearing a black shirt, and for some reason, Kevin's like, Eric, you're disappearing. And I'm like, so I tried to change a setting on the
Zoom.
video. That
Yeah.
didn't work.
Yeah.
I tried to move the thing closer. That didn't work. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let me try to change my shirt. So I'm gonna plug
Yeah. Gas.
gas here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Gasp sweatshirt. This is my favorite, one of my favorite sweatshirts.
Of
So
course.
I've been with Gasp 7 years now, one of their main ambassadors for the company. Love that company, amazing company, like a family. Michael Johansson runs up. Real quick plug. Right now they're doing like amazing deals. You can get tons off. I think like a Cyber Monday thing. So if you like Gasp clothing, they have all kinds of all new stuff, shirts, pants, hats, everything gear. Go check out gaspofficial.com because they have all kinds of amazing deals going on right
Yeah.
now. And it's the only thing I wear, man. My closet, it's hilarious. My closet, if you walk in, it looks like a Gasp warehouse.
Yeah.
It's just Gasp.
Yeah, they've been around. They're solid. I mean, I see a lot of bodybuilders and athletes sponsored by them, and he brings them over to to his country in huge. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
Uh,
amazing.
he's got amazing. And Shaun Clarida is a Gasp guy,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Keon, and
yeah,
yeah, it's just a great company. And they're really the thing that I'll tell you about their clothes is that if you buy a shirt, you can wear it for 10 years and train in it, and that shirt is still wearable. It
yeah,
doesn't just fall
yeah,
apart.
yeah.
Great stuff. I've been with them for a long time. I love that company. It's like a
Cool.
total family. So anyway,
Oh,
my
of
gas
course.
thing. So anyway, we got Ask Merlin. I think you
Yeah.
had a question for me that you wanted to throw my way.
Matt, like from experience, it ha used to happen to me a lot. So not everybody is a full-time bodybuilder, you know. Um,
Most people aren't.
yeah, yeah. And some people put bodybuilding before work, so they get their workout or before work, or they can work out before do their training before they start work, like I used to do. But when have to be at work really early, you have a hard day, you try to keep your meals, but sometimes you can't, tension and all this stuff, especially office jobs, because I find people that work more manual labor, they don't really have that much of a problem because their mind is fresh, when you work more office job. How do you think, or maybe, have an idea, to mentally prepare to go to the gym at night, mentally and physically. You know what I mean? Because if your mind is drained, problems, at work, and you're gonna face problems the next day, sometimes I think gym is like the last thing you want to think about at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I run into this definitely with clients because, while I have a ton of competitors that I work with, I also work with regular people who just have regular jobs. And a lot of them do. Some of them, I will say, purposely actually make an effort to actually set their alarm extra early and get to the gym first.
That
Um,
that's okay.
which is, I'm not a morning person. I've always liked to train in the afternoon. So, but there are some people who are, whatever. There's some people who are morning people, some are not. But if you can get your workout in before, that's one solution. If you can manage to do that,
Yeah, yeah,
that's one solution. If that's not a solution for you, you don't like to do that. I know you mentioned the mental aspect, but first let's just talk about a couple of practical aspects. When it comes to the food, preparation is everything. Preparation is everything. You can't just wing it. If you're really serious about it, take a day on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is, and meal prep.
yeah,
And if not, use a meal prep company. But meal prep, get everything in Tupperwares, get your meals measured so that you basically have them, in your office. You can like if you can, throw it in a microwave, eat it real fast, you know, have those meals prepped so you don't have to think about how
Yeah.
you're going to eat or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to rely on, fast food or going to restaurants or whatever. You have the meals. Try to be prepared and also make use of protein powders. Listen, there's meals. Maybe somebody says, "Oh, I can't always sit down, and even though I microwaved it, it's hard for me to eat my chicken and my rice and this and that." So have a couple of meals that are just a protein shake, maybe with carb powder in the shake, or a piece of fruit, or rice cake, something that you could do fast. So as long as you can, just try to get in your nutrition because if you don't, if you're having a rough day at work and you're not getting your food in, it's gonna be very difficult to have enough energy
Yeah.
after a long day at work. That's one thing. Second thing I want to say is um, make use of a pre-workout. Now, little caveat to that, I do understand if you get off of work 5:30, 6 o'clock, you're not getting to the gym. If you're going to take a pre-workout that has a lot of stimulants in it, that could affect your sleep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for some people, it's a problem. For some people, it's not. But there are pre-workouts out there like the one that I used to sell when I had my Spellbound Nutrition that didn't really have any stimulants in it. It just had ingredients that increased focus mostly and increased the pump and increased mental acuity so that you can get a little bit more focused and tunnel vision for your workout. So think about using a pre-workout as soon as you're done with work, downing that pre-workout, getting it into your system so that maybe when you're getting ready, you're driving to the gym,
Yeah.
it's kicking in beforehand. But I think that, when you're talking about the mental aspect of it, it all comes down to priorities. If you really want something, you're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah. That's true.
Uh, you know what I'm saying? If you don't really want it, you'll find an excuse not to do it. So
Yeah.
I have plenty of people who, listen, they're like, I have a family, I have my job,
Yeah.
but you know what? I want to get in shape. I'm gonna do what I got to do. So I'm gonna get to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm gonna get there, and I have to do it after work. And you just make it part of your day. It's
Yeah.
just something that you have to do. And if you do work out, which was something that I try to recommend to people to always, if you can, work out at the same time of day every day because your body will develop a rhythm
No, okay.
to
Okay.
where it's expecting a workout. The body's very smart.
Yeah.
The nervous system is very smart. So if it knows that every day after work, we're also going to weight train, your body will kind of get up for it and have a little energy. If you're training at all different times of day, your body kind of gets confused. It doesn't really know. So keep that rhythm. Another thing, if let's just say you normally work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, let's just say terrible day at work on Tuesday, overwhelming amount of work, completely mentally exhausted. You know you're not going to go to the gym and get much out of it. Okay, so try pushing the workout to Wednesday. Or, you know, push the workout to Wednesday, maybe use a day on the weekend instead. That's just another option if it's
Yeah.
an option, but only if you really, really need to do it. I also want to say, and I have experienced this a million times myself, that if you can just get yourself from your office or wherever you work to the gym, that's usually the biggest battle.
Yeah.
Once you get the weights in your hand, once you start to move the blood around, you kind of wake up and you
Yeah.
go and you start to get into a rhythm of it. So sometimes just push yourself to go. Like there's
Yeah.
been many times where I have worked my butt off and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to go. I just want to take a nap.
Yeah.
I don't feel it, but I just get in my car and I go.
Yeah.
And I get there and then I start to warm up and then the blood starts to flow and you're hearing the music and then
Yeah. Yeah.
boom, before you know it, you're into it. So just get yourself to the gym. So, but more than anything is what I mentioned before, it's priorities. If you
Yeah.
want something bad enough, you are going to go do
No.
it. And that's what it is. It has to be a priority. It has to
Yeah.
be part of your,
Yeah.
if you're serious, it has to be just like any other part of your day, just like brushing your teeth, just like taking a shower, just like going to work, just like going to school, just like it has to be part of your day. You're going to have
Yeah.
that block of time that you're going to go to the gym, you're going to get it done.
Yeah.
And probably when you're finished, if you're a little tired, you're going to feel accomplished, you're going to feel
Yeah.
better about it, you're going to feel like you conquered
Because,
something. So,
you know,
those are some of the things I have to say. Keep
sometimes the mind plays bad games on you. Like I've went through it, especially a couple of years ago, 49, 50, and then I broke my arm really bad and had to get a titanium plate. But um, even the excuse, oh, I can't find parking, I'm gonna go home. You know, it's like your mind plays games on you, trying to keep you away from the gym. It's like um, you're fighting with yourself, until you get in. It's like um, it's not easy sometimes. I admit it, huh? Because like
no,
some people tell me, obviously, life sometimes really gets in the way, and you have to prioritize. Uh, Even though I'm not a hardcore trainer anymore, I still love the sport. That has nothing to do with loving the sport and training. I mean, it's good to do both, but um, uh, the mind, it's you have to program it properly. Because it can destroy your routine. You know what I mean? So it's like professional bodybuilders. If they get the wrong mindset, they're finished. You know. They're totally out of it, So like Jay Cutler said in this interview, when he was focused, if somebody called him with a problem, he would just hang up the phone on them. He had no, if people would tell his wife, what's wrong with Jay? I thought we were friends. She would tell them, listen, just leave him until the contest is ready. You know what I mean?
yes,
So, it's sometimes you can get derailed really easy, So um no, no, I just wanted to see what your view of it would be. I mean,
yeah.
it,
No,
it, it
and I understand it. I completely understand it. I mean, sometimes it's really, really hard. Going to the gym, if you're doing it seriously, is work. It's work.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's you going in there. If you're going in there and you're just trying to, pump out a couple of reps and whatever, it's not really work. But if you're going in there to make progress, it's work. And after you've been at work all day,
yeah.
sometimes you just don't want to. You want to
I
go home and relax.
I'm a morning person. When I used to work at the newspaper, I didn't have to start early. I would finish late, but I didn't have to start. So I would do a good 2.5 hours at the gym. I would go at 5:30, and I had till 9 was all mine, and I loved it. I never missed a workout. I loved it.
That's why it was my first
The
suggestion.
minute I change jobs, I have to be at work early. That's it. I tried going at 4 to the gym. I tried going at 5. I tried going at gyms that are 24 hours. I still can't, I still cannot get it. And I'll get that bodybuilding bug at certain times during the day. It's like, God, I need to work out. 2 hours pass, and it's like, am I crazy thinking about going to the gym now? You know what I mean? It's like your mind's telling you now's the time to go to the gym, but you can't, you know? And even if the gym is an hour away, all right, the Malta an hour away, you fall off the island. But even if it's in traffic, it's an hour away. I would still go in the morning. At night, if the gym is not like, I have a gym, literally, Eric. If I had to put on my shoes and walk for 5 minutes, I'm there. And they used to open 24 hours, and I used to go at night, but it still wasn't the same. It still
Yeah.
wasn't the same. You know what I
That's why I
mean?
suggest many people, if you really want, I mean, it seems to be a great way. And a lot of people I know who go in the morning say it starts my day great. Like
Of
I
course it
feel
does.
more energy for work and
Yeah,
everything. And plus, it's also really nice to know that's out of the way for the day.
yeah, it's true.
So, but again, I gave some advice about nighttime workouts. And
Yeah.
one other thing I'll say is like, you know, we can't kill it at every workout.
No,
We
no,
try
no,
to,
you can't.
but if there's a night you had a rough day at work, it's okay to say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, but today I'm not going to destroy myself. I'm just going to get a
Yeah,
pump. I'm going to just get a
yeah,
pump. It's
yeah,
better that you go in there and still just get a pump, get a
yeah.
decent workout. You can't crush everything or break new
No,
records,
yeah,
but at
yeah,
least try to go. So I
yeah,
would say, if I'm just going to list them all out real quick, prepare those meals beforehand, get them in Tupperware so you have them, so you
Yeah.
have your meals in. Use a pre-workout when you're done with work. You can use one with stims if it doesn't keep you up at night. If not, find one that's stim free.
Yeah.
And just get yourself there because once you do get there, you do tend once the blood starts moving and you start getting you'll get into it,
Yeah.
and you'll be happier that you did it. But again, last thing, it comes down to priority. It's how bad you want it. When people want something bad enough, they find a way to do it. You don't want it bad enough, you
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Maybe in another podcast we can discuss really vague, like just basic for the beginner that might not have a budget, the easiest foods to prepare. Maybe we can talk about that next time,
Yeah, that's a good one. That
like
is a good
something, just you don't have to, blow your, paycheck to eat properly, There's so many complications today. Maybe you can talk about the basics next time, you know?
Yeah, because there's good basic, there's cheap food, not
Yeah,
everybody's gonna be able to afford filet
yeah,
mignon and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bison burgers for their
Yeah, we'll
proteins.
we'll
So
talk
yeah,
we'll
we could
talk
do
about
something like
it.
that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next time because I like to ask Merlin, okay, for the veteran and the pros, but it's the beginners. It's the beginners to get them on the right track, because they see so much crap today. They
Oh,
they have
I love it. I love it. I want
keep
to
it
help them
basic,
because
keep it basic, and like I mean, today's like Jay Cutler episode. He used to stick Chris Aceto's plan on his fridge 6 meals a day, and he never used to miss one of them. And they
no,
weren't
Jay was a beast. He
they
didn't eat
weren't
this.
they weren't complicated, you know. What is it? Broccoli chicken, broccoli fish, broccoli chicken, broccoli
He ate the
fish, broccoli chicken.
basics as clean
Yeah.
as could be, and and there was no such thing as cheat days or
No,
cheat
no,
meals or refeeds and this.
nothing.
He was just boom. I'm
No,
on my
nothing.
diet.
Yeah,
Done. That's
yeah,
it.
that's it. So I guess that's it for today. We talked about a lot of cool things. We maybe went a bit not off topic, but really cool stuff. I
I think
enjoyed.
that what happens with us is that we intend a certain topic, but
Yeah.
then it help, and then we kind of think of things,
Yeah.
little different
No,
things that
but we say a topic, Eric, and we can't finish it in 5 minutes. Big man contest. This guy won. It's done. You know. Look at the guy in 15th place. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
you have to move on. Like these things of the magazines, Jay Cutler and the bodybuilders, how they treat you. Those are the things, people want to hear about, sometimes. It's not just
yeah.
contest coverage. He has nice lats, nice chest, nice biceps,
Anyone could do that. I like
yeah.
to give,
We have,
and I like when I can give some personal, or we can give personal things like
yeah,
that we know that experiences we've had
yeah,
with certain of
yeah,
these guys or
because
whatever.
I get a bit pissed off. You hear like, I mean, I respect him a lot. I think he's my friend. I don't know. Like Bob Ciccarello and Sean Ray, they're like sometimes I heard them on their last podcast. Like it's like they're the shits of all shits, like we were pros, we were on stage, so we have the right to talk about bodybuilding. No, you don't. No, you don't. It doesn't mean that you have to be a pro. I was never a pro. I competed once. It doesn't mean that you have to be a pro to love the sport and no. Was Peter McGuff a professional bodybuilder? No.
No, no, that's a
Some
ridiculous
of some
statement.
of the best soccer coaches in the world that have won the World Cup, that have won the Champions League trophies, I'm talking soccer, made millions of dollars, right? They're paid 20, 30 million a year to coach a team, right? They've never kicked a ball as a professional footballer in their life, but they know the sport. They love the sport. I mean, you don't have to be a pro or a professional coach to love or criticize the sport or not criticize, give your opinion on a bodybuilder or a review. That li- I lived bodybuilding all my life since I've been 14. It doesn't mean I had to mingle with the pros behind stage at the Mr. Olympia in 1987, or win the Arnold Classic. Or listen, that doesn't give you the right to say that you're the god of all gods or because you're the Olympia, you know, you're the guy behind the microphone. Okay, you accomplished that. Good for you. I had a big website, you know. I did what I did with it. I sold it. And now I started this with you, you know. It's
We all have different perspectives where we come
yeah,
from,
yeah,
but we
you
still
don't
go.
have to.
Listen, Sean Ray, one of the best bodybuilders that ever lived. I can guarantee you that I have 100 times the amount of published articles
Yeah,
that he has.
yeah, it's
Has he
true.
written
It's true.
500, 600 published articles? No.
True.
So
It's
can I
like,
say that I have more of
yeah,
a right than him? No.
yeah, you hear people, you know, they win the Arnold Classic and Arnold doesn't even come on stage and give them the trophy. And meanwhile, me, the guy, the Canadian guy that lives in Malta, a small island in the Mediterranean, I ate 3 times with him in very really private dinners where he was here and there, you know, or sitting right behind him at the Arnold Classic. I could have just, you know, with his ear, you know, or he's having a coffee at the Arnold Classic in his private room, and I'm there, you know, and there are pros, you know. I don't go saying, you know, because you know, I have the right to do this and you don't, you know. No, everybody has their say in the sport, you
Listen,
know.
I love John Romano. I think John Romano's great on
Yeah,
podcasts, whatever.
yeah,
Was he a pro bodybuilder?
no.
No.
And
He was a writer.
he
Yeah.
knows so much about the sport,
That's what
you
I'm
know.
saying. So we
You
all
know,
have different, we
yeah,
all have coming from different places,
yeah.
which means we all have a place.
Just because you accomplish something on stage doesn't mean everybody else is no good. You know, Steve Weinberger, what was he? Nothing.
Never a pro bodybuilder.
He owned the gym. He married a professional bodybuilder.
Married Gabe, man, one of the best bodybuilders
Yeah,
females.
yeah. So that's the proof right there. You
Yeah,
know, he's an
that's
accomplished judge. You know,
so
that's it.
a little silly for Bob
Yeah,
and
that they when
Sean
they
to
say
talk.
these things that they are the authority to say certain things, you know. No, you're not. You know, everybody is. Everybody, you know, there are good podcasts like ours, and then and then there are other podcasts that they call themselves bodybuilding podcasts, and all they talk about is what they do in the toilet or, you know, nothing. You know what I mean? So then they still get followers and people still watch the shows, but you know, I don't know how long they last on them, but anyways, so that's my little rant for today.
All
Um,
right, well, that's always a good way to finish.
yeah, so subscribe to the channel, you know,
Yep,
share our video,
yep,
comment.
yep.
Uh, one guy commented this last week that he wants
I
us to
saw.
talk about. You saw it?
Yeah, I saw that one comment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, thank you.
At least he commented.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he has every right to ask that. You know what I mean? But
Fine.
we're not, I don't know. Anyways, maybe one day we'll do an episode on just on that, but you're more knowledgeable on that probably than me. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's fine. But yeah, so we love your comments. But
yeah, yeah. So,
hope you enjoy this one, guys.
yeah, we're at episode 28. You know, we're soon at 30. And we'll be back next week and we'll
Yep.
see what we'll come up with because now the contests are done. Everybody's looking forward to the Arnold Classic now. First the Detroit Pro, then the Arnold Classic, you know.
Well, we
So
have the NPC Nationals, so maybe we'll
yeah,
talk a
there's
little bit about the winners of that,
NPC Nationals.
and
Then
then
we'll see.
see who some of the couple of new pros are going to be. And
Yeah, we'll see who the new pros are, and who knows? Maybe we'll have a guest next week. Who knows? They just have to, you know, answer. Like it's Instagram as well. When you send a message, if you're not a friend,
right, it goes into the box where they don't
or
see
if
it,
you're
and
not a friend, you just can write one message until they accept it. You know,
yeah,
so uh, they don't even know that we're writing to them. And
some
you
people.
know, some people are very difficult to contact, you know, so unless you know other people, which I'm trying as well. And it's just up to people if they have the free time and things like that, you know.
Yep,
So
yep,
we
yep.
have to see. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week. Have an
Yep.
enjoyable week, and we'll talk to
Yep.
you soon.
See you guys.
Peace.